the first chapter is the first series of products due for release later this year. But what are inside these products? And how much do they cost? And of course, which one should you get for your budget? Let's find out. Hi everyone, this is D Simon from Mushu Report, where we cover all things Lorcana. The first series of products for Lorcana is named the first chapter, and there are 4 different products in this series. And they release officially on August 18 in local game stores or September 1st in mass retail stores in the United States and various parts of Europe. The 4 products to target both players and collectors start from the standard booster pack all the way to the luxurious box set product that will be the perfect Christmas stocking for 2023. And I'll cover all these products in detail today, along with my recommendations of what you should get regardless of if you're a collector or a player. Starting off, we have the booster pack, the bread and butter of every TCG that all players are familiar with. The first chapter will have a total of 204 card types, which the booster pack gives you access to all of those card types. Each booster pack will have 12 random cards, which means 6 commons, 3 uncommons, and 2 rare, super rare, or legendary cards, along with 1 foil. The booster pack is the cheapest and most basic way to get cards at €5.99, but it's just totally random and you have no idea what you'll get inside when you open the pack, which also makes it the most exciting of all the 4 products. Although it's not guaranteed though, typically buying a full booster box or packs in other TCGs gives you a certain fixed amount of higher rarity cards, so it is preferred by players who can spare the cash. Just note that the Lorcana team has confirmed that there are 24 packs in every box, meaning each box is over €140. For the collectors aiming to get the higher rarity cards, you should definitely be aiming to get as many booster packs as you can. Moving on, we have my personal recommendation for a must-buy product for all players. It's the starter decks. There's 3 different starter decks available at launch, namely an Amber and Amethyst deck featuring Moana and Mickey, an Emerald and Ruby deck featuring Cruella de Vil and Aladdin, and finally a Sapphire and Steel deck featuring Aurora and Simba. Each starter deck will have a pre-constructed deck of 60 cards, including 2 foil cards of the characters on the cover, 11 game tokens, 1 rulebook, and 1 booster pack. The starter decks are €19.99 and ready to play out of the box, played and tested by the team, which means that even though we do not have the full gameplay details yet, the decks will have everything you need to play the game right away. If you aim to start playing the game, you should prioritize buying the starter decks for sure, including the booster pack. Each starter deck will net you a total of 72 cards, of which 60 are fixed. Next up, we have the gift set. There's only one version of the gift set for now, which features Hades, King of Olympus, and Mulan, Imperial Soldier. I have covered the potential of these 2 cards in a previous video, so if you have not watched that yet, you should check it out. To summarize the video though, both of these cards are really pretty strong that you can build a deck strategy around. So if the gift set is a product to consider for you, you should definitely get it since you are guaranteed these 2 cards when you get the gift set. It will include 2 oversized foils and 2 playable foils of both Hades and Mulan, 2 tracker tokens, 32 damage counters, and 4 booster packs at a price of €29.99, including the booster packs. That gives you a total of 50 cards, which only Hades and Mulan are fixed. As the name implies, I think this is more of a stocking stuffer, which many people will be very pleased with, since it provides you with 2 pretty well-known Disney characters at a reasonable price. Last but not least, the Ilumineer Trove. This is the highest price product out of all the 4 at €54.99, which include 1 full storage box, 2 deck boxes, 8 booster packs of 12 cards each, 15 game tokens, and 1 player guide. We do not know too much about it yet, except that the storage box and deck box designs will be unique to the Ilumineer's Trove and will not be sold separately as accessories. At first glance, this looks like another stocking stuffer type product since it only gives you 8 packs, which means 96 random cards where you can get 9 booster packs at the same amount of money. However, with just 1 lesser pack, you actually get that storage box that's themed, 2 deck boxes, tokens, and a nice guide which they have said will include a look into the world of Lorcana along with a visual guide of all the first chapter cards. Personally, I think that's very worth the price of 1 pack. Now, we've gone through all the products along with all their prices, but for easy reference, here is the products with their prices at a glance at the table. These prices are the Euro prices listed in the German Lorcana press release, and the booster box price shown is simply the booster pack price multiplied by 24 packs per box. Currently, the US prices are not yet announced, but however, we can make an educated guess. Germany has a 19% sales tax, so if I deduct that and convert the prices to USD, that is the result I get for what I guess will be the USD listed price. Though do note that this is the calculated figure and there are other factors to consider like differences in manufacturing and shipping, so the final USD price could be very different. Furthermore, each USA state has different tax rates, so you will have to factor that in. Now, that is all the information that we currently know for the first chapter products. And if you found this information useful and helpful, a subscribe to the channel would be fantastic. Now, what should you buy exactly? Assuming you're not Scrooge McDuck swimming in tons of money, you probably have a budget that limits how much money you can spend. And since the USD prices are not out yet, here are my recommendations based on the Euro prices for what you should get at different budgets. First up, if you do not have much of a budget and can only spare 20 euros, your choice is obvious. You'll want a starter deck. Converted to booster packs, that's only enough for 3 booster packs, but with 36 random cards, you will not even be able to try out the game. However, if you got a starter deck, you not only get 60 cards fully designed to be played out of the box, you also get a booster pack to open up, tokens, and a rulebook, making this a great deal. For buying only one starter deck, I'll recommend waiting for more news on the contents of each deck so they can decide which deck strategy you want to play the most. That said though, we already do know who are the 6 cover characters for each of the 3 decks, and if any of these characters are your favorite Disney characters and you absolutely must get them, you know which one to pick. Moving up to 60 euros, I will recommend you just get 3 starter decks to get one of each variant. With 3 decks, you'll be ready to play any of the 6 ink choices, and that allows you to try all the different inks and their different strategies, which will help you to pick your favorite ink to focus on. Let's say instead of Moana and Mickey, you want to play a deck centered around Mickey and Simba to have an Amethyst and Steel deck. All you have to do is switch out all the Amber Moana cards for the Steel cards, and you have a brand new deck with a brand new strategy. Now, if you're slightly higher budget of 90 euros, which is roughly about 100 USD, I will add on a gift set to the 3 starter decks. At 30 euros, the gift set gives you 4 booster packs, which is slightly lesser than that 5 booster pack you'll get. You spend the 30 euros directly on booster packs. However, that 1 pack difference gives you 2 guaranteed foils for Mulan and Hades, and a whole bunch of game tokens that you can use for the game, making this a pretty decent deal, especially if you plan to play Mulan or Hades. Moving on at 145 euros or roughly 160 USD, I would consider adding an Ilumineer Trove. I mentioned consider as we're still waiting to see the design and artwork of the deck boxes and the storage box before we make a decision, as these are probably the main attraction to people looking to get a Trove. However, as I shared earlier on, you can get a pretty good deal out of the deck boxes, storage box, tokens, and guides, so assuming the design is decent, I would add on that Ilumineer Trove. And if your budget hasn't been exhausted yet at this point, it gets simpler from here. Just buy as many booster packs as you can. Since you've already gotten all the various collectibles you can get from the gift set and the Trove, your aim from here should be to buy booster packs to get the cards you need for your deck or for your collection. Preferably, you should buy in boxes to have a hopefully higher chance to get those higher rarity cards. So at 290 euros, which is roughly 320 USD, you get 3 starter decks, 1 gift set, 1 Illuminator Trove, and 1 booster box, which will give you a total of 39 booster packs included. That's 9 lesser packs than if you spend the money directly on booster packs. However, if you had spent it all on booster packs, 48 packs gives you 576 totally random cards, which I need to remind you, there are 204 card types, and it might be difficult to build a specific deck you want, as you could be missing a lot of essential cards. Those 9 pack difference, however, does get you a lot more cards from the starter deck, which are ready to play out of the box, along with a whole bunch of boxes and tokens you may want to collect or use during games anyway, so why not? That is my consideration for the players and also for the collectors who just want to collect everything that Lorcana has to offer. However, if your aim is to simply collect one full set of every single card in the first chapter, then you should move straight to buying booster boxes and as many as you can. If possible, buying an entire case would be your priority, because once you have bought an entire case, you'll probably have multiple copies of cards which you might not need, upon which you can try to trade those away for any cards which are still missing, or simply buying singles from other players. Now before I end my video,
a word of caution to this tale.
I do have to warn everyone about pre-ordering from anyone at all at this point of time, where we are still 6 months out from the release date, be it from an LGS, a dealer, or from eBay, or especially, I should say, eBay. As of this video in February, based on what we know, none of the LGS know the quantity that they're able to get or even what is the recommended price for the US. That said, there are posts on eBay claiming that they are pre-selling the first chapter products. It may feel safe to buy from them as eBay has a money-back guarantee policy to protect buyers, where you get your money back if you do not receive the products. However, eBay's pre-sale policy also states that the seller must guarantee shipment within 30 days of purchase, which of course will not happen since the product only releases in August. That means that listing is actually not appropriate and we can't say for sure if the buyer's protection will properly apply here. It's probably better for you to be patient for now and wait till a LGS you're familiar with in your area announces that they're taking pre-orders for the product. Finally, if you're like me where we are just in an area where Lorcana will not be sold officially for the first chapter, we just have to be a bit more patient. Lorcana has stated that they will be releasing not just in LGS or in mass retail, they are also looking to put it up for sale with online retailers, so that is something for all of us to look out for. If not, you can still order it from eBay. Just make sure it is within 1 month of the shipping date mentioned in the listing to be safe. And that, my friends, is everything we currently know about the first chapter products, along with my recommendations on what to buy at different budgets. I hope that this information has been helpful to everyone, so drop a like if it did. Thank you everyone for watching. This is D Simon from Mushu Report, signing out.